Hi, welcome to This Expat Life. My name is Amanda Maxime, and as a certified coach, I help high-achieving expats find more fulfillment and happiness in their global lives. Because while life abroad is often amazing, it is not only rainbows and butterflies, as all experienced expats know. In This Expat Life, I open up space for all facets of life abroad and what you can do to thrive in it. And to support you in your personal, professional, and geographic life transitions, I share tips, tell relatable stories, and connect with fellow expats. Whether you've just moved abroad or you are a seasoned expat, This Expat Life is your place to find real understanding and to grow from the inside out. Enjoy the show. Hey, welcome to another episode of This Expat Life. I'm here comfy on my couch in Mexico City, although I do not know for how much longer because I just heard that I might not be able to renew my studio. I've been here in this studio and extending it 2 weeks by 2 weeks, and I was thinking, I'll do another 2 weeks on Friday. I'm going on a weekend trip actually, but I thought then I'll have my studio here, I can leave my stuff here, and I'll stay another 2-3 weeks, might go to the beach, and then my time is almost up here. And then the owner came to tell me that he might get kicked out. So he wasn't sure if I could renew the studio after Friday. So it is now Wednesday. I'm going on a weekend trip tomorrow, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be packing a trolley or a small suitcase for the weekend or everything I have in this studio. While I'm in the middle of a launch, I'm launching the Copilot, I'm running masterclasses, there's a lot going on, but I feel so relaxed. Self-trust is a wonderful quality to have. So anyway, I just wanted to pop in here. It's been a couple of weeks since I'd done a solo episode. And there has been so much going on the last couple of weeks while speaking to my clients, while speaking to people in my masterclasses, expats who are at crossroads, who need a little inspiration, who need extra support. And there was just so much that I thought, this is so relevant for the podcast as well. But I was just too busy to record anything. And I do want to be consistent, and I sometimes have a tendency, not really for perfectionism, but I do make things bigger in my head. And I want to share this with you because you might be similar to me. And instead of making things big and, when I do record, it needs to be something really solid and really good and almost perfect, I'm like, no, let me just pop in and share a small idea and just do a short episode, if that's possible for me, because I like to talk. And also tell myself it's okay if it's just one tiny part of something I want to share. So that is my state today. I can feel I'm still a bit hyped up because I just hosted the masterclass and it was wonderful. Everyone was just engaging in the chat. The chat fired off. They were talking to each other, sharing tips, explaining their situations, recognizing things inside with each of them. It was really nice. The masterclass was about how to get out of expat decision limbo. And this is something that you maybe recognize as well. And what I've noticed again and again after coaching so many expats is that one decision for one area of your life, let's say you are not happy in your job anymore, is not just one decision for that one area of your life, like your peers have back home, most of them. As an expat, if you decide, I'm not happy in this job anymore and I want to leave, you're going to start thinking about, okay, do I want to stay in this company? Do I want to stay in this sector? Or do I want to make a big pivot? That's the questions your peers back home have as well. But then, as an expat, it turns into questions like, but if I'm going to leave my job, do I even want to stay in this country? And if I'm going to change country, is it time for me to move home? My family would for sure appreciate that, but will I have the same job opportunities back there? Will I even like it there? Maybe it's time for me to go to another country where I have more career opportunities. But then I need to start all over again with friendships and finding my way around, and I'm not sure if I have the energy to do it. So maybe it's just better to stay here. But then what do I want to do with my job? So this is usually how it goes for expats inside their head, and I have been there too. And recently inside the Copilot, one of the expats inside the program called this the expat waiting room. And I love that term, so this is why I'm using it now as well. The expat waiting room, I mean, my mind, I right away got creative, and I see it. I'm very visual, and I see this expat waiting room where you go in to wait. You go in to wait for clarity to hit you. You go in to wait for more time to think clearly, to have more headspace. You wait for things to calm down so you can think about it better. You go in there to wait for the fog to disappear, for external circumstances to change. Because when everything feels foggy, you might just feel like, I want to stay where I am, because then at least I cannot knock anything over. Another wonderful metaphor that one of the co-pilots described it that way. And so we go inside this expat waiting room because we aren't sure what our next step is, which other door to open. And so we wait for inner clarity, for time to solve it, or for time to give us clarity, or for external circumstances to change so we have, better understanding of where to go. And I've shared this before. I've been in this expat waiting room when I felt I was unhappy in The Hague, yet I wasn't making any move because I saw everything that I had to give up, but I wasn't sure which door I could open yet. And I'm not someone who is afraid of leaving things behind and starting new chapters in really big ways. I've done that so many times. I love reinventing myself, but I do need to have a new destination to go to. And so I was in the expat waiting room, waiting for a visa to happen, waiting for my future husband to appear, waiting for something else that would enable me to make a move. And I realized I am so sick and tired of being in this expat waiting room. And so I made the decision to get up and open a door. And I didn't know what door that would be. I just knew I'm going to leave The Hague. That is the part of like getting up and getting towards the door and opening it already. And what is behind the door, I don't know. I have shared this before, that action brings clarity, overthinking doesn't. And so the longer you stay in the waiting room, you think you're gonna find your clarity, but actually it may take you even further away from it. And all that time, you're not living your life. So yes, I was in The Hague, but I wasn't fully investing there because I thought I might be gone in a year. And so in my masterclass this Monday, and also just now, I asked the people inside the masterclass, how long have you been in the expat waiting room? And on Monday, 55% said they had been longer than a year inside the expat waiting room. And today it was 77%. That is an overwhelming majority of expats who have been in the expat waiting room for over a year. And that expat waiting room isn't necessarily bad, but you're also not fully living your life. You are waiting for something, and while you're waiting, you're not fully investing. So I've seen this in my own life and in clients' lives. A gym membership offer of 6 months, they'll pass because they're not sure if they're going to be there next year. Christmas decorations, to invest in it, well, I might not be here next Christmas, so why would I invest in that? In the meantime, it's just going to take up all my space. But even worse, investing in friendships, investing in relationships, dating. A lot of people put dating off because they're not sure if they're going to be there in 4 months. And so that's the one thing I never put off. I always thought I'll continue investing in friendships and relationships because that's what I need to feel happy. But a lot of people inside that expat waiting room, they're living their lives. It's not bad, but they're also not fully in it, and they're also not fully investing it because they're waiting for the change that will happen soon, quote unquote. And by not investing, you are not fully living your life. And in that expat waiting room, you're mentally living into 3 different possible futures with your current life quietly running underneath it and not being fully lived. Now, as you probably know, I lost both my parents. I lost my grandmas too in the last couple of years. I lost 2 friends who died too young. And so I've really learned a lesson of life is now, and we have to enjoy it because we have one big, beautiful life and it's so precious. And so spending a bit of time in the expat waiting room is okay. Sometimes we do need to be there. We do need to wait for things to change or the dust to settle, right? Internally or externally. But spending over a year in the expat waiting room, that's turning it into a semi-permanent destination. And that's not what I want for you. I'm really on a mission to help more expats get out of the expat waiting room so that they can really live their life according to what they want and need in their life. And so that they can feel really happy, or at least decide on something, or at least feel good and calm about it so they can actually enjoy where they are. So that's exactly the kind of work I do in the co-pilot, by the way. I help expats move out of the expat waiting room and transform their overthinking into super clear decisions and also embodied action. Because the co-pilot is not just about finding clarity, because knowing something, knowing what you want isn't a decision. If you want to make a decision, you also have to go for it. And that is exactly what I help expats with inside the co-pilot. I could talk a full hour about this. I'm going to keep it sweet and short today because I have a coffee meeting with someone soon. And today I just want to share 3 very simple things that I have used myself to keep opening that door out of the expat waiting room, to keep sticking to my decision and not let doubt overtake me again. And these are 3 very simple things I say to myself, sometimes even out loud. Yes. I live alone, so you develop all these crazy habits. So these are things that you could apply to yourself as well once you have decided what you want, or at least decided what you no longer want to have, and it's time for a new chapter. The first one is that this is exactly what I just shared in the masterclass. I like to divide my life into eras. And yes, I was totally inspired by Taylor Swift about this. So right now, I think I've mentioned this before, I'm in my ambition era. And this started a little while ago already, but now I'm fully embracing it. And I live in The Hague, in a very sleepy town, and I call it my lullaby that sings me to sleep. And when I look around, most of the people of my age, and I guess most of my friends, they're more in their era of like settling down, of moving from the big city to the smaller cities or the countryside, from ambition at work to prioritizing work-life balance and to starting a family. And for some time, while I was still in the expat waiting room and I realized I'm not happy in The Hague, I also felt a bit bad about myself because I thought, what's wrong with me that I don't like this city that everyone really praises? Like, the quality of life is really good here. Objectively, I can totally see it's such a good city. I live so close to the beach. It's safe, it's cozy. It has a lot of wonderful things. What's wrong with me that I'm not enjoying it? And a while ago, I realized, well, I'm really in my ambition era. And so the fact that everyone around me is doing the opposite of what I want to do, everyone is moving from like the big life to the smaller life, I have the reversed. I had my soft girl era in the last couple of years with all that grief and the heartbreak and the pandemic and everything that was going on, which forced me to go inside and to, just allow life to be life and to flow with everything and be in my soft girl era. And right now I'm back in my ambition era, and I want a big city, and I want hustle and bustle around me, and I want lots of single people around me who want to do fun things with me, not just friends who, have time for a coffee once every month and it needs to be planned in advance because their life is so full. And so for a long time I was thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I appreciate what I have? And why do I apparently want to be different than everyone else? And now what has really helped me to stick to my decision to leave, and also to share it with others, because a lot of people are like, why would you do that? I just say confidently, because I'm in my ambition era. And then they all go like, oh yeah, I see that for you. Now I understand why you want to move to a big city. So my first tip for you is to identify, if you look at the next chapter, whether that's a chapter of a year or a couple of years, but just like the midterm future, I guess. If you look at that and intuitively check in with yourself, what is your era about? Is it a soft girl era? Is it the ambition era? Is it the adventure era? Is it the family era? But the moment you can decide for yourself, this is actually this kind of era, it becomes much easier to say no to everything that isn't aligned with it, even though objectively it's a good thing, or even though other Everyone else seems to be doing it. So tip number 1, what is your era? Repeat it to yourself every time that you need a boost, and also just share that as a justification for your decisions if you feel like people are questioning what you want to do. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to have a mantra ready for you. Now, sometimes, you find clarity, you make a decision, you know what you want, you take action on it, but then life happens, setbacks happen, you find obstacles, or you wake up because you didn't sleep well and you're just like, oh, I don't have the energy to take action today, or I just don't feel it. So have a mantra ready that will keep you going into the right direction. And I say this again out loud sometimes. For example, when I had the best mantra that I got in December of last year at my business conference. I used to say things to myself, my success is inevitable, and that would empower me. And in December, I heard someone say a variation to it, and I thought, yes, that's it. And that is, my success is non-negotiable. Because that feels much more empowering, because the inevitability of it feels more like, okay, it's up in the, it's not up to me fully, it's the universe or someone else who decides. But my success is non-negotiable. That is something that I decide what my non-negotiables are and what I choose in my life on a daily basis. So that has become my mantra now, where every time that I feel a bit of a setback or I don't know, I just like, no, my success is non-negotiable. Now you can have a mantra for like just to keep you motivated. It can be a mantra around your chapter. I also say things like, if I'm a bit scared, like, okay, it's either a success or a lesson learned, like I've got nothing left to lose here. And sometimes, it is specifically about the chapter or the era that you want to start. So for me, it's also, I say to myself, it's ambition time or things like that. I apply this to all kinds of things. Even last year, a year ago, I was really struggling with some things in my love life and patterns that kept coming up and behavior that like I would then think about something and spiral a little bit. And I would just tell myself out loud, no, we're not going to go there. Every time I spiraled or I wanted to think about something, I just said, no, Amanda, we're not going to go there. And again, if you see me in my house say this out loud, you think I'm crazy, but it works for me. So I have my little mantras ready that whenever I encounter doubt, setbacks, obstacles, questions, judgment, whatever, mostly inside, I have my mantras ready and I say them out loud because they help me to stay my course. That is tip number 2, have your own mantra. And they can change over time, obviously. Then the third thing that I do, and this one I do not say out loud, although sometimes yes, in conversations, it is not like a quick era or mantra kind of thing, but it is a good reminder. And the reminder is that every choice has a trade-off. Every decision has a price. If I'm not mistaken, I know decision that comes from Latin means to cut off. Again, if I'm not mistaken. So with a decision, you're choosing something, but you're also cutting something else off. And it really helps to make a decision faster if you know what the price is. So a lot of people, when I was saying this in the masterclass as well, when I left my diplomacy career, it wasn't super easy, because I was confident and I made the decision and then I took action on it. But a part of me was also like, oh, I'm saying goodbye to the prestige. I'm saying goodbye to the good monthly income that I have. I'm saying goodbye to wonderful colleagues. I'm saying goodbye to paid adventure. And I was able to make that decision because I told myself, but I value other things more. My core values are autonomy, adventure, growth, and a few other things. And I realized those things are more important to me than the stuff that my ego likes, or more important than financial security, for example. And so if you aren't fully clear on what your values are, what you find most important, and then these other things come up that are also good to have, or you have built something and it's hard to give that up, you can easily go back and forth. Or maybe objectively you're like, okay, it's good to own a house, and so I shouldn't give that up. but maybe you aren't fully clear of what you actually want or what you value more. So that's why a lot of people go back and forth, because they haven't fully clarified that. But once you can clarify what you want, you also know what the trade-off is going to be. And once you can accept that, then your decision becomes so much more easy. So when I decided to give up my diplomacy career, and last year I had this phase that I was a bit like, oh, maybe I do miss it a little bit. And there were elements that I was a bit like, because my confidence was a bit low last year and a year ago. I remembered, no, that was the trade-off of my decision, because I value something else more. And so I'm okay with it. So it's more about an acceptance of, yes, I am going to be paying that price. I am going to cut that off. I am going to be missing that. But that is the trade-off I'm accepting with my decision. So I don't need to go back and forth on it. So the tip here is that every time I catch myself thinking, like right now, my decision is coming clearer and clearer. But when I made the decision to leave The Hague, but I didn't know where I wanted to go, all I could see was, but I'm giving so much up. I'm giving up maybe my house. Oh, that means I need to get rid of all my stuff. Oh, wait, then I also need to sell my car. And that's the car I got from my dad who passed away. My cats. Let's not talk about that. But also things like my dryer. I don't know why. My yoga studio just around the corner. Like the physical therapist that I found who's amazing. All of a sudden, I could see everything that I was going to give up, because your mind wants to keep you in a safe place, and safety is familiarity for the brain. So if you come up with a big new thing you want to achieve or go after, or a new chapter you want to start, your brain will try to keep you where you are, because that is safer. So since I had not yet had a destination to work towards, so something positive to replace everything that was going to give up, my brain just saw everything that I was going to give up. And it made me wobble a little bit. Now I'm confident enough in my decision making and in who I am that I was like, no, I'm not going to wobble here. But what really helped me was to just remind myself, Amanda, that is the trade-off. You aren't happy in The Hague on a daily basis. You've gathered enough data to confirm that. And if you really want to change and you want to be happier in the longer term and on a more regular basis, you need to change your environment. And the trade-off of that is that you will have to give up on those things which are almost all replaceable. And so telling myself, Amanda, that is just a trade-off, helps me to really feel okay with it. Not fully okay, but like 90% okay. I'm still going to miss a few things, obviously. So those were the 3 things that I have used in the last couple of years to make decisions and execute on them confidently, without wobbling too much, without questioning my decisions, without doing a little bit of going forwards and then going backwards again because my brain is stopping me or I fear what others have to say about it. I know my era, I have my mantra, and I know the trade-off. And that's what's really been helping me. So those are my tips for you as well. If you are in this crossroads and you already know what you want or you know what you no longer want, have those 3 things for yourself as well and repeat them to yourself and see what it does to your energy. And by the way, if you like these kind of tips, the Copilot is full of them. The Copilot is my proven step-by-step program that will really help you from being the overthinking observer of your life to the confident pilot of your life, taking the plane to a new destination. And I do that using proven, powerful coaching tools that I've used with my one-on-one clients as well, which will give you deep insights and deeper understanding and more clarity. But I really combine that with these super practical tips, because going deep and inside is fun, but I also really want to help you to translate your insights into concrete next steps so that you can generate a tangible change after a couple of months. We have 4 months together inside the Copilot. So there are lots of these small tips, small shifts that you can apply to your life that can really make the difference for how you execute on your decisions or how solid you are standing on your crossroads and moving forward. So if you like the idea of it, come join the Copilot. We are starting on February 17th again with a new group with personalized support from my side for 4 months which should really give you the time to generate that real change that I'm committed to enable for you. And by the way, the woman inside the Copilot who called it the expat waiting room, I checked in with her at the end of the last cohort, and she said, Amanda, I am no longer in the expat waiting room. I am in the strategic planning room of my life. Like, I feel so in control. I feel so calm here. I'm not fully sure yet where I'm heading, but I am deciding again. I was like, yes, that's really what I want for everyone. Everyone inside the Copilot said they feel calmer about their journey now. So you can think about your crossroads more and try to think your way to clarity and spend more time in the expat waiting room, waiting for things to change. Or you can save yourself hours of overthinking and achieve what maybe is costing you now over a year in actually just a few months. Just by making a different decision, by joining the Copilot, using different kind of tools, asking for support, plugging into the right community of people who are in the exact same place as you are, and by really doing things differently, because that will generate the real change and in much shorter time than doing what you've been doing so far and just adding more time to it. If this resonates with you, I'd love to welcome you inside the Copilot. We start very soon. You'll find the link in the show notes. And for now, I need to rush, actually. I have my coffee meeting with a new friend. Greetings from Mexico City. Soon more about decision making and feeling solid in your decisions. And something I do want to say. I said in the beginning, action brings clarity. I think I said that. Getting into action brings clarity because you're gathering data. By getting myself out of the waiting room and just getting into the world and looking for new data of what my next destination is, I think I found my answer. And I've done that in a month. And I was waiting in the expat waiting room for, I think, almost 2 years. This is how getting into action can actually change something for you. Have a great day wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.